one is that what's your most unforgettable impression toward China?
Okay.
The friendliness of the people.
Really?
Yes,
And what's
they are very friendly. The people that live here are very friendly.
So anything else about the food? Are you accustomed to it?
No, I'm not accustomed to the food. I've had some that was very good, but but
We
it's-
like the food very
yeah,
much.
but
The
it's
food
not
is
something
good.
I've had before.
It's different.
Yeah.
So about those students in XISU, so what's your impression? Shy or so active?
In my classes, my students are fantastic. They're very interactive. Yes, they tend to be reserved. They may not initiate loud or outgoing conversation because they're respectful. But when I engage them in conversation, they are very willing, very responsive, very respectful, and very engaged.
Yeah. So how can you interact with those students? What kind of games you prepare for them? Some examples?
Well, there's a lot of different games that you can play, but mostly I like to work in groups where they do conversation, like they will chat among themselves in English about a particular subject so that they have a base of knowledge to work from, you know.
So what do you think of their English level?
Different classes are different. I have some classes where the English level is very high. Some classes, the English level is just average. But they are committed to trying, and I haven't practiced any games, but I will have them come up to the front of the class and we will role play, and they are very responsive and they make a very good effort at responding to the role play. I teach a class in multinational corporate management, which is pretty sophisticated in some areas. And so we role played what happens between China, America, Japan, Australia, when one country exports more than another country. And so by role playing, they get to visualize the monetary effect of one country exporting more and another country not exporting very much. And so they're very responsive to that, and I think they understood the concept.
I got it. So actually I'm curious that what make you come to China and teaching for these students? Why you choose China?
We had two daughters that came and taught English in China to elementary students, and their experience was fabulous, and we just wanted to come and experience China and the people that we have heard so very much about.
Which city they went?
One of my daughters went to Urumqi, and I can't remember where she was by Beijing, but I don't know the community for sure. Yeah.
But we came because we love the people. That's why we came.
Yeah, they are enthusiastic.
Yes.
Yeah. So can you tell any difference between Chinese students and American students? I believe there's the tone crack.
They speak a different language.
I mean, in relation to personality or the way to be active with people. You know, I know there's a lot of parties in America, but not in China. Yeah. So anything other? Yeah.
No.
The students have been trained differently. When I teach something to my Chinese students, if I teach pronunciation, they immediately respond and the whole class repeats back to me. That does not happen in America because we're not teaching language. I'm teaching concepts that individually people respond, but the whole class doesn't respond at once. The other thing that is different here is that if I say, "Do you understand?" Raise your hand if you understand. they won't raise their hand.
Just naughty.
So I say, if you understand, don't raise your hand. And it stays down here. So I ask them, how many of you have hands?
So humorous.
And so we laugh, but they tend to be working hard to understand, but we have to work hard to make sure they understand better.
So, what kinds of assignments you always make for students? Or there's no assignments? I mean, for Chinese students.
Well, assignments that
Your classes
I will
will be very
give-
different than mine.
the assignments that I give would be reading
Difficult.
and practicing speech. I think it's the same.
Yeah.
The different topics that we'll talk about may be different, but we will give them reading assignments and then speaking assignments so they learn how to pronounce words. I imagine, I haven't done it yet, but I imagine in my mind there will be words I will speak on WeChat and send it to the group.
Oh, you know how to use WeChat.
Oh yes.
We are learning, yes.
Excellent.
And that way on WeChat they can hear it, they can see my mouth if it's a video, and then they can practice it with each other. And so that is part of it. The other thing that I will do is extract material about economies and countries, put it in a summary on a paper, send it to them on WeChat and say, study this, so when we talk next week, we can have a conversation that you understand.
So, apart from teaching, what kind of things you will do in your spare time?
Well, right now we enjoy just walking up and down the streets
Yeah.
Just walking.
and going into shops and buying your bread and tasting your different dishes. We enjoy your fruit stands to buy your peaches and your bananas and your grapes.
You like fruits very much.
Very much.
So most of your time you spend here or in the
So
news
far.
district? So far.
So
We
far,
have only
we've
been in China 7 days,
7 days.
so not a lot of time yet. But we will explore more and more and more. We've been to the metro, and we've been down to the computer mall.
we went to one of the pagodas.
went to the pagoda,
Yeah.
the Tang Pagoda
The
today.
Tang Dynasty.
Tang Dynasty Pagoda. And in October we'll go to Uramuchi.
Go on the Silk Road.
When you have your school
Sure.
break, we'll take and go to Uramuchi out west. Uramuchi, is that
I
right?
know that. So except China, have you ever been to any other countries?
Yes, we've been to Israel and Egypt.
Israel.
To Egypt, Italy, Mexico.
Mexico.
Where else have we
The
been?
Caribbean,
Yeah, we've been down in the Caribbean.
Canada,
Incredible.
and
So
all
we
over
enjoy-
America.
Yeah, we've been all
Oh
over
my
America.
God. Just you two?
With our, yeah, a lot of times it's just us, but sometimes it's with our family.
I think in different countries you need different translators.
We usually have someone with us that helps us, yeah.
So
Like
the
a
same
guide.
in China.
Like a guide.
And most countries, the people have been very wise, like China, and they learn to speak English so they can help us,
We appreciate that very much.
like you and you.
Thank you. So, what are you doing in those countries for teaching or traveling? mostly?
Traveling.
Traveling.
Well, we went to Egypt and Israel and Rome to broaden our knowledge so we would be better educators. That was the purpose.
I have some additional questions. And first of all, can you introduce your hometown to us? Hometown.
Yes, we're from a community, Wellsville, Utah, and it's a small community. It has a community close by that has a university. Utah State University is close by us. A lot of our children attended Utah State.
And we love foreign students.
Yes, we have a lot of foreign students there, and they're fabulous. We Our community is more rural, so there's a lot of farming there, and usually
We have horses and
Yes.
gardens.
Yeah. So,
we raise
that's really
apples
cool.
and
Yeah.
peaches and grapes
It's really cool.
and strawberries and raspberries.
This is the 7th day you've been in China, and what's the most difficult thing do you think when you get used to Chinese life?
It is hard because everything is in Chinese, and it's like, okay, I don't know what that is. Yeah, so I kind of guess, and getting around, it's kind of hard to find places.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to learning a little more Chinese so I can take care of myself a little better without having to ask people, do you speak English?
And you have to see the students, right? You have teach
I've
students?
been in his class, but I haven't taught any classes yet because I'm teaching freshmen, and they're doing military right now.
Yeah. So, what do you think? XISU and its students impress you most?
Well, first of all, the business administration, the College of Business, their administration, have treated us wonderfully. They have been excellent, very gracious. When I was in the lunchroom, I even had the opportunity to meet your president of the university and visit with him. And so that's been wonderful. I am impressed with how organized your university is. It's easy to get around once you get comfortable, once you're familiar with it. It's easy to get around. And the thing that probably impressed me as much as anything is your system of student monitors. When I arrived at school my first day, there was a student monitor there that had my door open, the TV screen on, the computer ready to go for me. The secretaries ran off 60 copies for me because I needed 60 copies of questionnaires, and they just made things comfortable. In teaching, my students are very good. They laugh at my jokes. They answer my questions. When I tell them to come up in the front and talk to the class,
They do it.
they come up and they talk to the class. When I work with their pronunciation, they work hard to get it right, and then they smile big, and they always say thank you. So wonderful things about the college, the university.
We are glad you like it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.